I should have had this on my calendar and I did not. All right, so call the meeting to order. And do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. All right. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes for October 21st? Actually, did everyone get to check over them? Any changes or corrections?
No,
All right, then may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
so move, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. And I'll second. All those in favor of approving the October 21st minutes? Say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. And let's see, our board policy on the enforcement of subpoenas. So that would be Ed.
Still working on that. I need to get that done. Ethics training for city employees and officials. I drafted a letter for Melissa to send to the mayor, and I don't know if it was on account of the letter, but Shelley just circulated an email. Somebody inside of City Hall is working on setting this up. Shelley?
Yes, the city now has a trainer in HR and he is working on that. I offered my services and also Ed and Melissa if he needs assistance. So I'll keep you all updated as that moves forward.
Thank you, Shelley and Ed, for keeping on top of that.
Do you have any sense, Shelley, what he's intending? I mean, is it going to be like a series of 3 like we did last time to cover all the shifts? And
Yeah, I would imagine so. Something similar to what we did before. I know he's working on a PowerPoint presentation right now, kind of updating the one that was presented before. So
okay. Any idea of the time frame on that? Like when they'll be?
at this
Like
point,
when
I
he-
have no word about that.
Okay.
All right. This is going to be a really short one, huh? All right. Thank you again. Any new business, or we do have new business, sorry, the advisory.
The main reason the meeting was scheduled is we did receive a request for an advisory opinion, which I think is in your packet and was circulated. But the inquiry came from Michael Gumbar in his capacity as a member of the Convention Center Authority. They were looking to do a night at the Royals for the city, which would be open to city employees and their families. They were thinking of a discounted ticket price of $10 per ticket, and a $25 food and beverage gift card would be provided for every 2 tickets purchased. So I looked at this question and wrote up a draft of an advisory opinion. To me, the discounted ticket price and the $25 food and beverage gift card would fall within the definition of a gift as defined in the Code of Ethics. You know, gift can include without, by way of illustration and without limitation, preferential rate on terms of a debt, loan, goods, or services. So to me, it clearly falls within the definition of a gift. Now, not all gifts are prohibited. You have to look at Section 6 of the Code of Ethics, and specifically Section 6B 1A, which says that no city official or employee or member of his or her immediate family shall accept a gift from any, I'm skipping over extraneous verbiage, but may accept a gift from any person, firm, corporation, which to his knowledge is interested directly or indirectly in any manner whatsoever in business dealings with the city, provided that the city official or employee has any influence directly or indirectly in any manner whatsoever in the city's participation in those business dealings. So, breaking that down, there's really three components to that paragraph. One is, no city official or employee or member of their family can accept a gift from an entity like the Convention Center Authority, which I presume would have some business directly or indirectly before the city, where that city official or employee would have any influence directly or indirectly over the city's participation in those business dealings. So, and then there's a number of exceptions to the general rule on gift. I do not think any of those exceptions apply. So the way I analyze this is that this could be accepted by city officials or employees that don't have any influence directly or indirectly over the Convention Center Authority's business dealings with the city, but anybody within the city that would have any influence, direct or indirect, over the Convention Center's business dealings with the city, would be prohibited from accepting this gift, drawing that distinction between, who could accept and who couldn't accept, is sort of beyond the scope of this, but strikes me as a pretty fine line to try to thread that needle would be really through a pretty small eye hole. So that was my conclusion. There is a provision in the exceptions for a de minimis gift of less than $50, but the way it's written, it's a gift totaling less than $50 from a single individual during a single calendar year. Individual is defined in the code as a person. So the way I read that, I don't think the de minimis gift would apply, because the gift would not be coming from a person. It would be coming from an entity, in this case, the Convention Center Authority. So not to try to rain on the parade, but that was my conclusion as I analyzed that question.
Is there any way to determine, or Shelley, the number of city officials, employees that would have a direct or indirect connection with the Civic Center? I mean, is it, if there's, I don't know how many employees there are.
There are just over 500 employees when you count police, fire, public works, and all of City Hall. How
Okay.
many of them would be involved in making, that type of decision for the Civic Center is probably, I would guess, very small compared to the rest.
Okay.
I think it also depends too what you consider having influence. Because, not all employees have influence over whether or not things happen between the city and the Civic Center.
Yeah. So Ed, are you saying that that it's okay for those employees, who may not have any connection, I'll just say that, with the convention center? So if it's 50 employees that would, we're saying that 450 would be allowed to receive this as a gift?
Yeah, that's my conclusion, Jeff. I mean, I think, there could be whole city departments that would have no influence, direct or indirect, with any issues or dealings between the city and the convention center authority. And I think they would be fine in accepting this. For example, I think members of city council would probably be precluded. I sort of view city council as having influence virtually over everything in the city.
Sure.
Probably, the top level of, management within the executive branch within the administration probably would be precluded. But as you sort of work down the chain of command, I think the lower in the chain of command you go, the probably it would be acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, that to me sounds reasonable. I would agree with what you said, Ed. The staffing that would be directly involved, as well as the council executive team. Other than that, unless there are other departments, I would agree with your analysis. It's just a matter of how that would be communicated, I guess, to employees.
Yeah, the email that I received from Mike Gumbar, who's also an attorney, and he mentioned this to Jeff Waltman. Jeff, I don't have the email with me, but the gist of the email was that I don't think Jeff was all that excited about this idea. Here it is. Let me just read it to you. I asked Jeff about it, and he wasn't opposed, but was a little concerned about the ethics reporting for elected officials, employees. He asked me to check with you if this is something that would fall within those parameters, if you have any other thoughts or suggestions on it. Actually, that was an email to Linda, which got forwarded to me. So I don't, honestly, Jeff, I don't know. I mean, we'll issue the advisory opinion. I don't know what'll happen going forward. Whether they'll follow through on this or not. I mean, the impetus is the convention center authority. So whether they move forward with this or not, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm in total agreement with that, Ed. And it seems I think your analysis is good.
Unfortunately, I have to call it like I see it in terms of the
Right.
code of ethics. I mean, it does seem like the gift provisions are probably the section of the code that creates the most questions. And I'm glad they're asking the questions.
Yeah.
Whether council would want to carve out another exception for something like this, would have to take an action of council.
I mean, I don't think there's any kind of, agenda behind this. They're just trying to drum up. Yeah, they're trying to get people to go, and we really want the city to,
I feel sort of bad, coming to the conclusion I did. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, I'm not trying to, be the Grinch that stole Christmas, but again, I have to write it like, the code is written.
That's why we have the code. Yep. So,
Yeah. I mean, I did get a question just while we're sort of on the topic of gifts, just this week, actually, the other day, there was an email sent out. I think, was it Donna that sent it out, Shelley?
Originally, yes.
Yeah, originally Donna Reed sent out an email. The question there was, members, city councils being invited and it may be in connection with the American Rescue Act or American Rescue Plan money that the city has. But the email was, the YMCA wanted to invite city council to a luncheon, where food would be served. And the question was, could they go and could they accept, essentially a free lunch? And, I just responded to the email. I looked, took a minute and looked at the code, and I concluded, that because there's a clear exception in the gift section for food and beverage provided to all participants in the ordinary course of a meeting, where the food and beverages are provided at the site of the meeting. So, in that instance, the code clearly allowed it. And that's, what I responded back to Don and the others on the email thread. Now, there was a second email from Marcia Goodman Hendershitz that I have to clarify whether she wants it written up as an advisory opinion or not. But, it's just these circumstances arise, and, the code is what it is at this point. To the extent it needs to be revised based on experience to address these kind of questions that come up that maybe the outcome isn't quite what council would want it to be, the code would have to be amended. But until then, we're stuck with what it is.
All right, any further discussion? All right,
I just have one real quick question for Ed, if I may.
sure.
If the Convention Center Authority chooses to move this forward, Ed, then do I have to get a gift form from every employee who participates?
I thought of that. Let me just check the code on that, Shelley. So I don't think so, because unless the way I looked at, I don't know what a ticket, I mean, they're talking about a $10 price for the ticket. I don't know I haven't been to the Royals in a couple of years, so I don't know what the normal face value or, what a ticket costs. But if it's $50 or less, they don't need a gift form.
Okay.
And my sense is it's less than $50.
Yeah,
The
they're,
$25 gift card is, for 2 tickets.
yeah, they're between $12 and $29. I just Google it.
Okay. So I think the answer is no, Shelley.
Fabulous, thank you.
I know.
Unless you want more work.
I was gonna say, she's gonna get all of us to collect those and collate them. All right, so may I hear a motion to accept the advisory opinion as written?
So move, Jeff.
And a second? I think Angela said second. That- All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? All right. Motion carried.
And Melissa, when you're not cleaning out your guinea pig cage or whatever you're doing, can you sign this by tomorrow so we can issue it?
Yes, I'm going to give myself a reminder. I actually have to teach dog class in about like 5 minutes. So I will
Shelley, can you-
get that. And if you don't have it, I'm gonna write myself a note right now because I am notorious for forgetting things.
Shelley, do you have a clean copy that you can have Melissa sign?
Yes, if it's okay with you, Ed, we've been doing a lot of docu-signing electronically.
Yeah.
That way
Okay, yeah,
it's clean and it's quick.
okay.
I will do that. I'll send that in the morning.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
then
Shelley.
once Melissa signs it, if you could distribute it to Gumbar and whoever you would normally distribute these to. I think, don't you put them on the website?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and our next item is local enforcement of the filing of statements of financial interest.
Well, again, that's something I'm working on.
Okay,
You know, the code, well, I'm working on it. I'll have something for you by the next meeting.
all right. No problem. All right. Anything else? All right, then we'll wait to hear from Ed on his 2 homework assignments. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, Ms. Eggert.
Thanks, everyone. I have to fly. I'm sorry to jump on and jump off and apologize again for being late.
No problem. Have a good trip, Melissa.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
Excellent.
you.